this video I'm going to show you how you can create an alias for a command. Now what is an alias? Well, an alias is a feature in Modo that allows for commands to be given alternate names with preset arguments. So what does that mean? Well, in Modo you can actually click the interface buttons to activate commands, or you can assign shortcut keys, or through the form editor you can create new forms with buttons and so on and so on. And an alias is an extra feature that allows you to give a name or a command and another name, which you then can enter in the command entry over here, and that command will be executed. So how does that translate into practice? Well, for instance, let's say when I go to my basic tab, I have my primitives over here. I would want to assign the cube primitive an alias. So I've activated it, and I'm going to simply press spacebar to deactivate the tool and then go to the command history. So over here you see cube primitive and the command with the arguments. So in this case the command is tool.set, and tool.set takes two arguments to turn on the cube primitive tool, which are prim.cube and on. So how do I turn this into an alias? Well, I'm going to open another command history window by pressing F5, and I'm going to select tool.set. So if I don't filter, I have all, so I could go to all and search for tool.set, but I can also press that F button over here and then simply type tool.set and select this. So this has to be selected in order for the next command to create the alias to work. So with tool.set selected, I'm going to go back to my other command history, because over here I already have some information that I need. And instead of tool.set, I'm going to write CMDS, short for commands, CMDS dot alias, and then capital C for create, and then space. So cmds.alias create, and now I need to give my alias a name, and the shorter it is, the less I have to type later on. So for instance, for my cube primitive, I could simply press something like CX. It doesn't matter actually, it's the name CX, so I'm just giving it the name CX, my alias. And then I want to pass the same parameters to turn on the cube primitive as with tool.set. So those are prim.cube and on. But with the command of the cmds.alias create, they need to be between quotes. So I'm going to enter quotes around prim.cube and on. So my complete command now is cmds.alias create, then the name from my alias, which is cx, and then between quotes the arguments for my cube primitive, which are prim.cube and on. Now when I press enter, I have created an alias, which is being added to your config file. So when you save your config file and open it, you will see at the end of your config file an alias named CX. So what happens now, if I press CX in the command history and press enter, now press enter, now my cube primitive has been turned active. So I can drag out my cube primitive, just like that. Now I don't want to go over to the command entry every time I want to activate one of those aliases, and a short way of doing this is simply press the enter key. So when I press the enter key, now watch the command entry, and I get an error, no command history viewport available for focus. Now earlier you saw me open another command history with F5, And so this command history now has focus. So I'm going to close that again and click in this command history to make sure that this has focus. So now again press the enter key and you see the command entry has the focus now. The cursor is blinking over here. So now I can press CX and press enter again and you see my tool properties and my cube primitive are active again. Just like that. So press enter, the shortcut CX, enter, and my cube primitive is active. Earlier I've done so one for the smooth shift. So if I select that polygon, now press enter and then SS, enter again, and you see that my smooth shift has been activated. Click in the viewport. So this is an alternate way to give shortcuts if you want to, without actually using shortcuts, but through an alias. So this might be or come in handy. So to recap, you create an alias with the command cmds.alias create and make sure that the C of create is capital. Then a space, and then you give it a name, and the shorter the less you will have to type later on. And then you have to also make sure that for the tool that you are going to create an alias, that is selected in the background. So if I go to commands over here and do a filter search for tool.set, you see that it is being selected, so I did not have to open another window, but it just made it easier. So tool.set has been selected, and so the name, and then between parentheses the arguments that that tool takes, which for the cube primitive were prim.cube and on. And if I press enter, now I have created another alias also for the cube primitive, so you can have multiple ones for the same command and maybe specify other arguments for it. And now when I press enter, my command history entry has focus. I'm going to type name and press enter, and you see again my primitive cube tool has been activated, and I can drag out. And again enter, or my other command CX, which is so shorter, enter. So I can have, for instance, for the bevel tool, which is shortcut B, that already is a standard shortcut. If I want to use B also for something else, then I simply could create an alias, just like I've shown you, and then depending on what you are doing and how you are doing it, so when you select a face in the viewport and press B, you activate the bevel tool, or if you select a face and press enter and then were to enter B and then press enter, of course I haven't assigned an alias to B, but then that command would get activated. So I hope you found this useful. Bye for now.